Sure. As this year comes to a close, after all the twists and turns we've experienced, we too find our balance. We stand firm and steady, grounded in the timeless truths that guide us. Just as we celebrate the season of light and connection, we reflect on how we've embodied the elements, air, fire, water, earth, and light, and the flow of our consciousness, thought, feeling, form, wisdom, and spirit. Together we honor what we've learned, and with open hearts, we prepare to step into the new year with clarity, purpose, and hope. Today's inspiration is provided by April Johnston-Ulrich with the talk, The Incredible Light of Being.
Got my buddy with me here. Since the talk today's on light, I couldn't resist bringing him. But just sit him there. For those who may be online, this is my little guy. I haven't got a name yet. I don't think we're on screen.
April, put him on the stage so we can watch him.
Oh, can't see him on the chair.
On the chair.
Don't have their video on. Oh, that's an interesting beginning. Oh, sorry guys, you just let me do a second. I don't know why our video isn't showing. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, we were back for a minute and then she did. Okay. Well, we went for speaker. Sorry for those of you who've been in the dark. Wow, this is going to be profound talk today. This is my little fellow I brought. He needs a name. Should we call him Ernie? For Ernest?
Ernest.
Yeah.
We're called Ernest.
Well, we'll put him right here. Have a seat. Good morning.
Morning.
So, light. What do you get when you cross a thought with a light bulb? A bright idea. Barb wins today. So, happy solstice, Merry Christmas, Happy Bodhi, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah starts on the 26th. So what do all of these things have in common? Advent. What is a big symbol of their celebration? Anybody? Yes, Barb?
Change in the light.
Yes, light itself,
The light.
right? The light. So, candles, beautiful Christmas lights. Has anybody taken a beautiful drive around with all this snow on the trees? Seeing these beautiful twinkling lights everywhere that people put up? Doesn't it just lift your spirits? I love, big country girl here, I love being in the country, driving down an old back road, old gravel road, and in the middle of nowhere, there'll be a house completely decked out, or a barn. They do either one. And there's just something so inspirational about that, that someone that maybe, you know how many people are going to see it, but they don't do it for that. They light up that house, that barn, their tractor, whatever it might be out there that they choose to put lights on, drag a generator out most of the time so they can do it. It's for them, and it's for their neighbors, and it's for people that are coming to their place. It's to light the way. And light is so incredibly important to us because we're all, as they call it, light eaters. There was a great new newsletter that I've subscribed to. It's called Nautilus something. I should have written it down. I will get it if anybody's interested in it. And it's a science paper. But what I love about it is so many of the articles that they write fall so beautifully into our teaching. And as the first sentence in our Science of Mind says, we are a tradition where belief and science walk hand in hand. We're not one, we're not the other, we're both. So I love this. I love keeping up on the newest scientific ideas that are out there, and I love seeing how many times they prove the beliefs that we've had for years. And this is where I really see our teaching as taking off. More and more physics, all the sciences are starting to prove what we've been saying all the time. So this article about we are all light eaters was interesting because they were talking about the trees and how they absorb through their leaves the sunlight and they turn it into glucose, and it's their energy in which they run. We too do that. We have receptors in our eyes, and they take in the light and turn it into vitamin D, which actually isn't a vitamin, it's a hormone produced from the sunlight. And what is so interesting about this is there was a researcher in, I believe it was 1923, quite a few years ago, that noticed that even blind mice, their rods and cones, their eyes dilated. And he thought, well, what is this about? So what it ended up being is that there are other receptors for the sun that have nothing to do with forming an image or for us seeing the world around us. So one is in the hypothalamus, which converts this light into, I'm sure we've all heard about this, the circadian rhythm. So we talk about this going to sleep, waking up, how the daylight savings time messes up our circadian rhythm. And the reason is it's based all on light. So that's why they tell you that when it's nighttime and you want to go to sleep, make the room as dark as possible. Because these light eaters in your brain, or in this hypothalamus, are the things that disturb your sleep. They get light, and that triggers them to produce a little cortisol. Let's get you moving. So you don't have the sleep you want. So they found out that these receptors aren't just in the hypothalamus. They have found these receptors, these what they call, I don't know why, false suns, in your lungs and in your heart and in a number of other organs, which I find fascinating. So, light. Light in that way controls our bodies, controls how we feel. Sadness, does anybody here ever suffer from light sadness? I forget the seasonal affective. Yeah, so this is part of those receptors not functioning properly. So it is a real thing. It's not just, oh, I didn't get to go to Mexico this year. It is a real thing. And so it's really smart for us to go out and get those things like the lights, whatever, or go sit outside in the backyard for 15 minutes and get that rhythm going. Keep the room dark, keep it cool, keep all those things that trigger the light eater in you to do a beautiful cycle. So I love this time of year, and you would think that was strange for a light eater such as myself. But I love the quietness. I find the going into sleep at night so much easier when it's so darker earlier, and I find being mindful of what I'm eating is easier when it's dark outside and I've got candle lights going in the dining room and my trees all lit up. I find those things soothing, and I also find them wonderful because I go within and look for that light that is within me. And that light that we talked about in the meditation, we talked about yesterday during solstice, that Marana mentioned in her opening treatment, which was so much the idea of what we're talking about today. And that light within us. So what is light? What does Ernest Holmes say light is? It's the divine. It's that spark within you. It is that thing that gets you excited, that you share with others. So you know what? When you say, hey, they lit up a room when they came in, or he lit up a room when he gave that talk, or they were lit, whatever it may be, are all expressions that we use, right? They're all expressions of energy and sharing. And what are we saying when we say they lit up a room? They came in and brought their energy. They brought their kindness. They brought their love. They brought their excitement. They brought all the good stuff. So what I love about this is that we all have that ability. So when we sing that song, This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine, it's not just about, doing your dance or whatever. It's about every moment of the day. It's about walking into that Christmas party and having people happy to see you. Not, oh, here comes the sad one, or here comes Scrooge. It is our responsibility not to be Scrooges. Why do we watch that show? Because it's transformative. We watch someone be transformed. I wish he hadn't had to do it through fear, but sometimes that's the only way to get the message across. We don't need to do that. We know that the light within us is what we're meant to share, not just at Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, but all the time. All the time. So are you doing it? When you're going to the parties or you're outside going grocery shopping or buying your Christmas presents, are you excited? Are you like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get the best gift ever for this person because I love them. And I want, when they open this up, to know how much I love them. Right? Do you think of that? Or are we thinking, this is a little bit more than I wanted to spend, and oh no, my budget's going sideways, and oh, I would have given something to them, but really, they never gave me anything. How good were they to me this year? I didn't even hear from them. Why do I keep doing this? Not the appreciation. Is that the light? Is that what we're supposed to be showing, or is that the Scrooge? So it's simple to fall into that, isn't it? Because we're all sometimes overwhelmed. But who chooses to put these? I hear a lot of people say, oh, there's just too much expectation. Who's putting the expectation on? Is it other people? Or is it yourself? I've had a lot of conversations with people about boundaries lately, and wanting to protect themselves and do what's right for them. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. That's a lesson that we can all learn, right? Because what does that do when we put those little boundaries, when we say, you know what, I've just done too many Christmas parties. Today I'm just gonna bow out of this one. And I'm not gonna make up a reason. I'm just gonna say, I'm sorry, can't make it tonight, right? Just be honest. Because when we do that, we're protecting our light. If we go out and we just try to persevere and send it out there, it really doesn't ever diminish. But in our minds, we start putting up obstacles. I really didn't want to come. And it seeps through, right? It just kind of seeps through on everything, and people can feel it. So don't do it. Do that thing. Protect your light. It's sort of like putting a little shelter around it so nothing blows it out, which is a wonderful thing. So Thomas Troward talked about light as a third aspect of God, meaning that it's a major part of how the universe works. So you think about this, when all the pictures you'd see, maybe the Bible, because probably a lot of us, because of our culture, came from a Christian background. Somewhat, they always showed baby Jesus glowing. Child wasn't radiated. This was to show the divinity glowing from him. And what you'll notice is in many things in which they show the mystics and the many teachers of all faiths, they will show a halo, an aura, something to differentiate them from everyone else. But they're not. It's just they're letting theirs shine. You're all glowing. You all have auras. They've proven that now. They can take pictures of it. It changes all the time. When we're sad, when we're focused on negative things, negative comments, that light diminishes. It goes within. It's almost like you've put on a coat. Same thing happens when you wear polyester, by the way. But then when you are feeling good and you are feeling love and you are feeling kindness and you are feeling generosity, it is 5 feet from your body. And there isn't anyone that walks in your periphery that doesn't feel it. I was just reading in that article again that I was talking about the Nautilus with the newsletter on science issues, and they were talking about your plants that you take care of, not the fake ones, everybody, but the live plants can feel when the person that takes care of them is 2 kilometers from the home. Their vibration changes, which shows you all energy we know is light. So they are receiving your light way before you walk in that door. So if you don't think that's important, I mean, look how ours are thriving, right? And they sit in pretty cool temperatures through the week, and they're beautiful. And I thank you to who's been ever watering them for the last 4 months. That's wonderful. So when you think about celebrating the light, think about it as sharing your kindness, your joy, your love, your compassion. See it literally if you're having trouble with Uncle John at the end of the table who's bringing up a topic that you're not happy about. Try to picture him as an orb of light, nothing more. Just observe. See if you can see a color for him. Block out what he's saying. Just see him as a light. Because then we treat people differently, don't we? When we get rid of the facade, which is that body, that clothing, however they're speaking, their political affiliation, whatever it is, when we get rid of that and we just see the light, doesn't it change everything for you? It's hard to judge a light. It's hard to criticize light. It's hard to say, well, aren't you glowing a little dull today? You wouldn't do it, right? But we would say, what's she doing wearing those shoes with that dress, right? Think of every time you make a comment like that as dimming your light, dimming the light of the world. There is a lot of the songs have to do with peace and sharing that joy with the world. And that is what solstice is somewhat about. Solstice actually means stillness. And if we're still, we don't judge. In stillness, we're in the present moment. It is what it is. Light is light. Love is love. Kindness is kindness. There is no difference between any of us. We're exactly the same. We're all trying to do our best. We all fall down, we all get up, and we fall down again. But if we can be the light for others when they've fallen down, we light their path. We show them the way out of it. And isn't that what we're all here for? Isn't that what we come every Sunday for, to be with other people that understand what we're trying to accomplish? That we're not Pollyannas, that we're people that do the work every single day of getting up and trying to make the world a better place through our divinity, through our connection with spirit. We're trying to use the universe, maybe at the beginning to get a parking spot, but now we've moved on from that and we realize the power we have, right? We create these lives we love. We create this place we love. We create the abundance, the beauty, the knowledge, the love, right? We do that. And now we get to share it with others. But we also know that when we come here, if we're having a day, that's tough. We know that someone's going to come up to us and say, you know what? Think about this. They're going to turn it for us. Or the music. We're going to get up and dance, and that thought is going to change, and our light is going to start shining. So what is the only thing that prevents you from manifesting? Because as Ernest Holmes said, when we do treatment, we are literally showing the path. It is all lit. The universe's path from ourselves to what we want. So what's our light look like for 2025 for the center? What's our path look like? Right? Are each one of us, when we go out in our kindness and our love and our generosity and our compassion, and people say, how are you like that? How are you always so positive? How are you always looking for the better part of something? You can say, because of the teaching I follow. That lights the path. That they may never show up here, but they might look up on a website and find the teaching, or they might find another way to it, or something that's a little more accessible for them. Whatever it is, you've lit the path. Do you know how many times you do that in a day? It was interesting, there was a little Instagram post of Michael Bublé. Most of you probably know he is a singer. And he was talking on going into the CBC station, and a woman was walking past him and said, "Oh, I love your shoes." And he said, made his day. Now you think about this. He's a famous singer. He sings in front of 20,000 people, whatever it may be. He was going in for an interview, and he said that he didn't think the woman even took in who he was, but she liked his shoes. And he said it shifted his whole day. She shared her light. He felt that light, that energy boost. And he said, you never know whose life you're changing with the smallest of kindnesses, the smallest light, smallest love, right? We do it without thinking, holding a door open, smiling at a little one that's playing around, helping a mom that's little one might be a little ornery in the checkout instead of rolling her eyes and asking why they brought their kid shopping with them. You know, and people do that. But, you know, have you ever walked up to a mom who's having trouble in a situation and just said, you're doing a great job? Kindness. Do you know what that would mean for her? Or him, if it's a dad? I mean, most of us have been there. Think about ways you can do that. It'll be every gift that you can ever think of for anyone. Touch someone with your light. Let it shine. So our main point is, don't be a Scrooge. Because no one wants that showing up at the Christmas party. No one wants a gift from a Scrooge. No one wants those negative comments, right? If you don't need to say it, don't say it, right? Is it going to, what I try to ask myself, is it going to make that person feel better? Is it necessary for me to share this thought? I have great thoughts. Not all of them need to be shared, right? So think, love or judgment? The two L's. Which one are you going to do? Love or judgment? Light, yeah, great. Lighter, yeah, the light. Be the light. Because the judgment is too easy and it dims your own. It puts in an obstacle. So just to reaffirm what I'm saying on the obstacle is the light is always pouring. That path, as Ernest Holmes speaks of, is always there. It is always lit. Same with the light within you. The only thing that stops the light is when we do this to it and we feel ourselves separate. That's the only thing that blocks it. So if we're saying, you know what, April, I'm not manifesting this. I've been trying for this new place for some time and there's nothing and it's all awful. Or my kids are just never grateful. They hardly ever come over. Or I've got a friend who really hasn't been there for me and I'm thinking I need to move on. All those kinds of thoughts are doing this. It's turning away. It's creating a separation. And when we do treatment, it's not for spirit. It's not for the universe. It's not for source. Source is always saying yes. It's for ourselves. It's to turn us around and start seeing the light. Because we're the only ones that dim our path. Even in solstice, the sun's still there. It's still there the same. We're tilted a bit, but it's still there. We're separate. If we find the darkness as something to be fearful of, something to be scared of, it's not. It's just in our thoughts. We've turned away from the light. So if you find yourself having a negative thought, focusing on stuff that you really don't want to focus on, try to find something to lift your mood. Change the radio station. Shut off the news. Quit focusing on those things. Put on the music that makes you happy. And start sharing your light with yourself in the space. And that's what I love about the Tao. Their symbol is the yin and the yang, with half black, half white. I should have put it up there. It's a balance. It's a beautiful balance, but they're not different. They're exactly the same. It's just our perspective that changes it. And we can change it back at any time we want. So think about those receptors all through your body. Think about that divine light, that spark, that beauty. Always love the fact that a lot of people, when they're especially trying to discredit some things within the Bible, and they talk about how in the creation story it says that God created light, said let there be light, and 3 days later created the sun. So a lot of people love to bring this up as the intellectual thing about how wrong this is. But the light that was created wasn't the light of the sun. It was the light within us. It was the true nature, the true divine center of all beings. All beings. Light is filling this room. It's in everything. It's in the chairs. It's definitely in the smiles of all of you. And it is in every molecule of this building and outside. And it is our job to see it when it's really tough. And there was the mention of, yea, though I walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil. The trick to this, keep walking. If things are down, if things are hard, if you're finding the season dark, if you're finding things within you dark, if you're finding your friends or your spouse or your partner dark, keep walking. It will pass. It is a season. You will return to the light. It is never gone. You just need to keep walking till you find it. So in closing, I would love it if we could take the time. Everybody hopefully has a candle, and I shall start this. Here we go. Everybody on Zoom. Oh, wow, we have lots of people on Zoom. Hello, everyone. I would ask you to pass this to the next person and repeat. Oh, you know what? What's that, bud? Here we go. Audrey, I'll start with you. I am the light. You are the light. Oh, did it not go? Well, Audrey's not so much.
I moved too fast.
Okay. So we say, I am the light, you are the light. And another word for this is namaste. The light in me sees the light in you. You can just do the one. It's wonderful. And for everyone on Zoom, the light in me sees the light in you. We'll just wait till everyone's lit.
I have a spoon. I have a spoon. Wax on my pants.
What?
I have a spoon. Wax on my pants.
See the divine shining in this room? Can we all recognize the light in everyone on Zoom? Oh, that rhymed. Happy holidays, everyone. May this be the season of love and light for all of you. And so it is. So it is.